waiting on yours to come back in. All right, here we go. Thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. You're listening to Versatile Radio, and I'm your host, Carlos Parks. I'm the owner of Versatile Real Estate Group in Jamestown, North Carolina. You can find us at www.weareversatile.com or 919-225-0660. Our show today is sponsored by Carlia's Hair Bun Covers, a new way to protect and style your hair bun. Find them at www.carliashairbunCovers.com. All right, today we are joined by a very special guest, Mr. Freeway Rick Ross, right? We're here to talk about multiple streams of income, passive income, entrepreneurship, and not just that. We're talking about turning over a new leaf and overcoming adversities, right? Our guest today has overcome a lot, right? He overcame a time away from society, and now he's productive, he's thriving, and we want to learn from Mr. Ross himself. How has he done it, right? You could start by telling us a little bit about your background for my listeners who don't know who you are. You're muted right now, Rick. You got to unmute yourself. There you go. All right. No volume. I think it might be your bandwidth. Your bandwidth. All right, bear with us. Rick is getting his equipment together. All right. So while Rick is getting, I'll tell you about Rick while he gets his equipment together. Right. Rick was one of the if you haven't seen, he's gone. I'm gonna let him come back in and start over. All right, now I can hear you.
Okay, great.
All right, but I'm gonna have to start over again. We good. I just got to read my introduction over again. I can edit all this part out, right? All right. Thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. You're listening to Versatile Radio, and I'm your host, Carlos Parks. I'm the owner of Versatile Real Estate Group in Jamestown, North Carolina. Reach us at www.weareversatile.com or 919-225-0660. Our show today is sponsored by Carlia's Hair Bun Covers, a new way to protect and style your hair bun. Find them at www.carliashairbunCovers.com. Today, we have a special show. We have a special guest. We are joined by Freeway Rick Ross, who is going to discuss with us what business ventures he has going right now, how he overcame adversity, and how he came to have such a millionaire mindset, right? So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Freeway Rick Ross. Thank you, Rick, for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself for my viewers my listeners who don't know who you are.
I don't know who that is, but
not many.
Hey, we'll try to find them. We'll try to find them ones who don't know, right?
Exactly.
I grew up in South Central LA. You know, as a kid, thought I was gonna wind up being a tennis player. You know, got pretty good at tennis, but never learned how to read and write. And when it was time to graduate and go to college, they hit me with the sad news that I couldn't go to college because I couldn't read or write. After that, I found myself back in my neighborhood, like so many of my friends, literally with nothing to do. You know, no job skills. Couldn't read, couldn't write, but I was a very motivated person, meaning that I didn't mind working, you know, and I didn't mind hard work. I didn't care. I just wanted to work. You know, I remember I was telling somebody that had I been able to get a job, I probably would own 100 McDonald's right now because I would have went in and I'd have flipped those fries like nobody had ever flipped fries before.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't have the skill set to get that job. So I found myself looking down the barrel of the streets.
Okay.
And when I looked at my options from the streets, the things that my friends was doing, uh, robbing, stealing cars. I stole cars for a little while. Started off stealing cars as a driver for the car thieves. They would pay me $50 to drive a car to a certain location, and it went from there to the dope game. And later on, I found out about cocaine, and uh, I started in the cocaine business with $125. Before I got arrested, I had days I made as much as $3 million.
Wow.
From that dope game, though, I learned some valuable lessons. From tennis, I learned some valuable lessons. One of the main ones that I learned from tennis is don't say no because somebody else say so. Uh,
Okay.
and I took that lesson into the dope game, and just because people was telling me that I shouldn't be selling dope, I didn't listen. I started in the dope game at 19. I went to jail at 28. I wind up doing 20 years in about 3 months, maybe 3.5 months. Them last 3 months, I told them they can have them. Don't even count them if they don't want to. But anyway, while I was in prison, I taught myself how to read and write. Eventually, they gave me a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Uh, I studied the law myself and found the issue that eventually overturned my case.
Okay.
Uh,
All right, you're back. Your volume went out. You're not muted, but your volume went out. You're, now you're muted. Unmuted. All right, nah, your volume or what? So I'll tell you what we're gonna do. It's about time for a break. We're gonna go to a break, and then we're gonna come back and get this. All right. Thank you for joining in. You're listening to Versatile Radio Show. I'm your host, Carlos Parks. You're tuned in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. The only station you giving you double the information and inspiration. We'll be right back after this break. All right. We cool. I went to a break. I went to a break real quick.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, hey, hold up 1 second. I want to make sure my cousin about to come. I want to make sure he don't ring my bell. So I'm gonna
Yeah, you know what be happening when people call me, it gets cut off.
yeah, all right. This ain't take a second. I'm running in real quick. Yeah, he coming from Winston, man, which is like 30 minutes away. So he should be pulling up soon. You ever been out Carolina?
Yep, a few times.
Okay.
Donnie Raleigh Dorn,
Yeah, I just live in
Greenville,
Durham.
Charlotte,
Okay. All right.
Fayetteville.
Fed. We call it Vietnam.
Yeah, I've been to those.
All right. Durham and Fayetteville, they probably worst cities in the state. Ain't no problem. They are the worst two cities in the state.
They seem pretty nice to me.
Yeah, but Durham got the highest murder rate, crime rate, and murder rate. Fayetteville and Durham be battling there a year for the highest murder rate.
Wow.
Yeah, Durham. Raleigh is nicer than Durham. Durham they call Bull City. It's rough. Durham is no joke. All right, you let me know when you're ready to go ahead. Go with the second portion.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Okay. All right. Welcome back to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, and those streaming live through free TuneIn Radio app and through iHeartRadio. You're listening to Versatile Radio, and I'm your host, Carlos Parks. Today, we are joined by a special guest, Mr. Freeway Rick Ross, and we're discussing not only what he's gone through to get to where he's at, but what he's doing today, right? So we like to concentrate on entrepreneurship, business, finances on this show, and Mr. Ross has a little bit of everything going on. I know I'm a part of his Freeway Millionaires Club, right? And I'm proud to be a part of it, right? Because it provides it gives us an opportunity to invest in his investments and what he had, and I really have a lot of faith in his vision. I have like probably four of his books. But he has so much going on. So I'm gonna let him talk about you know, finish talking about what took him away, took his freedom away. And as he said, he fought to get back, to get his freedom back. He taught himself how to read. But how did he go through all of that? How did he get to the point where he's at now? That's what we're interested to know. Mr. Ross, if your equipment is working and functioning well, I'll let you take it away from here. Can you? Can, he stepped out for a minute. He's having some technical difficulties with his equipment, but he's back right now. Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
All right. So tell us what you got going on right now.
Well, the thing that I'm most passionate about right now is I just cut a record deal with Universal Music Group. I'll be
Wow.
distributing my music through Universal Music Group. Very, very excited about that because I have a lot of plugs in the music business. Some of my friends are the top producers in the world. You
Okay.
know, uh, unbelievable. You know, the opportunity that I have in this industry. I think that I'm going to rewrite the book on how record labels are supposed to be ran. The next thing I guess is my motion picture. We're in
Okay.
pre-production right now. Uh, ecstatic about that. I'm also in the cannabis business. I should be opening my dispensary in the next couple weeks. I'm hoping that I'll get my letter from the state next week to tell me that I can go ahead and start working. What else? I got my clothing line, very small clothing line, mostly t-shirts and sweatsuits, but I eventually plan on going into sneakers and jackets and everything that people need inside of the clothing industry. Uh, I still do my motivational speaking, go around the country talking to different people.
I think he stepped out. I think so. He's using his phone. So what I think is happening is he's receiving phone calls, and the phone calls knock him out momentarily from the broadcast. But he'll hop right back in it in a second. In the meantime, I'll talk about his motivational speaking. There's no shortage of individuals or groups that are getting Rick to come out, flying him out to speak, right? Because he impacted the culture. All right, so he's back. Rick, you were talking about the things you have going on. I think you ended with the motivational speaking in the clothing line. Was it
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else?
Uh,
The
I mean,
books.
the books. I got two books out that you definitely should read. I think that these books could be. Well, let me say what Minister Ismail from the Nation of Islam said. He's held it up in Mount Mariani. He said preventative health care for the black man, and
Okay.
and I totally understood what he meant. A lot of people when they hear somebody say that, I don't know. A lot of people don't understand, but the Nation of Islam is in this trying to save the lives of black men and black women in the country.
All day.
So when he says preventative health care for the black man, what I took that to mean was that if you read that book, you could dodge a lot of the bullshit that go on in our communities.
Yeah.
Uh, because I had to get through a lot of stuff. It's very easy to find yourself on one end or another of a gun barrel here if you live in the black ghettos.
Yeah.
And I think that for me to be in the business that I was in, I maneuvered pretty well in those industries. So I think that's what he meant by that. And then the 21 Keys to Success. Uh, that book is about my first 6 months out of prison. Where um, and that book was so generic too because we wasn't planning on writing the book. The book really just came along. A guy by the name of Cody Crutcher who had asked me if he could come and hang out with me for a few months, and I took the offer, and he started taking notes of the way that I was conducting myself, how I was doing business, and at this time I was doing business when I didn't have any money.
Okay.
It would be days that I didn't have gas money to get up and
So
go to
so
some.
so that's an interesting point, right? So when you came home after doing that time, right? I'm assuming there were people there. Nobody had a handout for you. Nobody was like, "Here you go. Here go a couple thousand for you," and like, that didn't happen.
Later on, a couple people gave me a couple $1,000, but nothing of significance. Here in LA, when I got out the halfway house, Floyd Mayweather picked me up. I think he gave me $1,000, but my my
Okay.
my my girl's rent was $1,600 a month. So I was short
He
on
gave
rent.
you $1,000.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
So I was
Wow.
still short on the rent. I still had to
Yeah.
come up with
Yeah.
$1,600 more dollars. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so nobody really gave me anything of significance, and that's been one of the hardest things it's been for me to accept. With so many black people supposed to be rich, that nobody has the insight to recognize true talent. And,
Okay.
and I'm not saying this because I'm me. I'm not. I'm not. But I'm a bad motherfucker.
Okay.
I mean, any industry that I've ever went into, I really never lost.
Okay.
Now I've had losses,
Yeah.
but my man said the champ is still a champ as long as he get up off the canvas.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
even though in business you get knocked down, that don't count. That don't count as a loss.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just a knockdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been knocked down before, but I've always found ways. Even like with prison, when I went to prison, I learned how to read and write in prison. I read over 300 books while I was there,
Wow.
business related books.
Yeah.
So when I go to these meetings and these guys who read the newspapers and the newspapers were saying, "Oh, he's illiterate and he can't read and he can't do this and he can't do that,"
Yeah.
and I'd be like, "Don't read everything don't believe everything you read, because one minute I was illiterate, but when I found out reading was important, I changed that, and that's another quality that I have. I'm able to change as soon as I find out something is not right. And
Got you.
something is not good for me. If I find out, that's how I became a vegan. When I found out that eating meat and sugar and salt and that stuff wasn't good for me, I quit. And
I'm
and
a
I'm
vegan
able.
too. I'm living that lifestyle right now, right? So yeah,
Congratulations. Stay away
yeah.
from that. Stay away from those processed meats, those fake meats though. They're not good for you.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the
All
Beyond
right.
Meats, high in
Yeah,
sugar.
yeah, 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 yeah. So let
Yeah.
me ask you something, right? Being that you said, and I appreciate your being transparent, right, about your inability to read. But before prison, you were very successful, right, at what you did, right? And although it
I
wasn't
had
something
days.
positive,
I had
huh?
days I made $3 million.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Not profit though. No, no, don't get it wrong.
yeah, no, I
It
got you.
wasn't profit. I wasn't able to keep the whole 300, but I probably could keep 600,000 out of that 300,000, out of that 3 million.
And that's in a day.
One day. That's just one day.
And how long of a run did you have, Red?
I had an 8 year run, but I made that kind of money. I made that kind of money about 2 years in a row.
Wow. So they say when you turned yourself in, you gave them a substantial amount of money.
No, no, no. I didn't turn
That
myself
wasn't
in.
true.
No, I didn't turn myself in. They ran me down.
Okay,
I,
all right.
I,
So,
I turned myself in one time before. Uh,
okay.
uh, they had fabricated a case against me. The
o-
cops had planted drugs on me and so forth. and it was all lies. You know, they shot at me and say I shot at them, and my mom called me crying. They gonna kill you on the news. They got you on the news, and they gonna kill you when they see you. And you know, she made me turn myself in. So I turned myself in that time. My bill was $1 million. But no, I never gave him any money. No, never
Okay.
gave him money.
All right, so we're gonna go pay bills real quick. I got one more time. After the break, we'll continue our discussion with Freeway Rick Ross. You're tuned in to, and not the rapper. This is the real Rick Ross we're in the house with. You're tuned in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. Don't go away because we'll be right back. All right, my cousin just got here. Let me go let him in. And our last one is the closeout, Rick. It's going to be a 5-minute segment. It's basically we just close, and I got a long outro I got to do at the end. Give me 1 second. Come on in, yo. Where? Oh, that's cool. My dog in the back. My dog gonna come out in the front. So you ain't gotta worry about none of that. Hey, I'm in the front. I told you, that's fine. We got on the front, man. How you doing? Yeah, I'm Carlos. Where you live at? Over there. You live with your mom? I told your mom stay. Your mom stay over there on the
You already know. Oh no, I will. No, we're not going to Good Morning America. I'm taking my artists and boxes, everything.
Come on, man. Don't do that, yo. Don't do that, man. You worse my damn dad. Come on, my dad to come out here and won't even come to my house. He moved me here. He ain't been here since. He be right there. Oh, that's my dog. He okay. He a dog. He loves people. Okay. He just don't like dogs. Yeah, you got a can? Yeah, I want to say you let the dogs in home? Yeah. All right. Watch them real quick, say. Rick.
Yo.
I'm back.
Come on, somebody gonna call again.
Man, listen, that's what's happening, right? People calling while that's why the phone go. I figured that, right? So we're gonna do the last 5-minute segment, and then my cousin just got here, man. What's up? That's Rick Ross? Yeah. What's up, Rick? How you doing?
Come on, cousin, let's get this thing going. I'm good. They're gonna call me again.
I just stopped there for a hot minute.
Yeah, they're gonna call me again. You know they be
I got 5 minutes. This ain't gonna take but a minute.
All right, let's go.
He bring the dog in. He don't, you know, he's been in the thing the whole time. They just outside cooking. So. All right, okay. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and knock this last 5 out real quick. All right, this is the last one. All right, look, you see that jump? I ain't finished it, but it's gonna be a monster. Yeah, I see. Yeah. All right. Now you welcome. You can go down there. All right. Welcome back to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, and those streaming live through free TuneIn radio app and through iHeartRadio. You're listening to Versatile Radio. I'm your host, Carlos Parks. If you're just turning in, we're discussing a little bit of everything involving Mr. Rick Ross and his business ventures and what he's got going on today. So I'll let him continue. Before we close out, how do people contact you if somebody wants to be a part of what you got going on? What do they do?
Well, I think the easiest way to get to me is through the Millionaires Club. I take a special interest in the Millionaires Club. And one of the reasons I started the Millionaires Club because you get so many people and they talk a lot, but they do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt that we needed a screening process to screen people to find out who was really with it and who wasn't really with it. So that's how the Millionaires Club came about. I plan on making 250 people millionaires along with myself. Well, I'm gonna probably be a
I'm one
billionaire.
of them.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
one of
yeah.
them.
I'm going to be a billionaire this time. So, I was reading an article one day and it said that within 20 years, black people would be totally broke. And when I read that article, um, for me that was a challenge.
Okay.
And the challenge was to make sure that their predictions was incorrect. And I set out on a mission to do just that, to teach black people how I made money. Because when they were saying that, the first thing popped in my mind, oh, they ain't talking about me.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Because I knew I was gonna have some money. I don't care, I don't care where we at. When I was in prison, I had tuna fish and chicken and stamps and Doritos,
A
whatever.
lot of stamps. A lot.
Yeah, whatever the commodity was of trade,
Yeah,
I had that. And
yeah,
I said, no matter what happens in any economy, anywhere, if you put me in the middle of the jungle, and they trading rocks, I'm gonna have a bunch of rocks. So
yeah. Got you. Got you.
I said they wasn't talking about me, but when I thought about it, I said, well, you know what? You have a responsibility to teach others what you know.
Got you. Yeah. So like coming from, I guess I'm like an offspring of what you started, right? I came into that same lifestyle, right? And I felt like when I came home, after 17 years, I felt like it was part of my obligation to kind of like do the opposite what I had done, right? And that was like to help the community, right? So like now I mentor, I help youth. I'm what they call a pillar in the community, and it's really because before, the old me was not that. I was out there, you know what I'm saying? So and I know I caused a lot of bad. So how do you feel about what you're doing now? Do you feel obligated, because you are Rick Ross and because you had a lot to do with crack spreading? Do you feel obligated, or
Well,
is it
well, no,
how
no,
you?
not necessarily an obligation, but I enjoy
Mhm.
it.
Okay,
Even when I sold crack, my thing was is that I enjoyed teaching other young brothers how to sell crack,
got
and
you.
and I said that if I can teach them how to sell crack, I can teach them how to go up in the bank and borrow $1 million or borrow $400,000 or $500,000. That's one of the other things I forgot. We forgot. I'm in the boxing too. I have
Oh,
about
I forgot about the boxing. Yeah, yeah,
I have
yep.
about 7 boxers that I manage. Uh, um, but I felt uh, uh, not necessarily an obligation because obligation is something that somebody's making you do. It's
Okay,
like you're being forced to do that. So
okay, got you.
so mine is not necessarily an obligation, but it's kind of like a pleasure. It's almost like I get a kick out of helping somebody come up. I get to pat myself on the chest. I helped him.
Yeah, especially when you see him succeed. Yeah, yeah, I like that
And I
too.
think that's totally the opposite from most of the people from our community. They don't really get a kick out of helping nobody come up. They're more so. Most of our people, they only come to our community when they come to get some money.
Yeah, yeah. And then it's that thing we competing with each other instead of helping each other. Like if I want to see you win, I'm gonna help you win. I'm not gonna just like I like the fact that when I was joining the Millionaires Club, right? You basically said put up or shut up. You know what I'm saying? You said, well, listen, if you serious, uh, this is the website. Go over there and join my Millionaires Club. I did it that day, but you got
You
a lot of
did.
people who don't do that. And I
You
feel I
did.
feel like, I like that vetting process you use to see if a person is serious about, investing in themselves, man.
I mean, if you're not $300 serious,
Yeah.
you ain't
You're not
serious.
serious.
You know, if you're not serious enough to read my 3 favorite books, you know, take the time out and get those principles, you ain't serious.
What are your 3 favorite books?
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Read that one. It's in my library right there.
Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason.
Read that. That's in my library as well.
As a Man Think by James
That's
Allen.
the one that's the book that changed my life. As a Man Thinketh. Little thin book.
Yeah, they broke me. Those books broke me out of prison.
Because it broke your mindset. It changed your mind, the way you think. I love that list. That's probably my top 3. That's probably my top 3.
Yeah, that's my top.
Well, Rick's phone has rung again, and we're coming to the end of our interview anyway. Thank you for tuning in to Versatile Radio. You can find us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Also, if you want to be a guest on the show or want free advertising, call me at 919-225-0660 or email me at 072cap@gmail.com. You've been listening to Versatile Radio, and I'm your host, Carlos Parks, on WDRB Media, the voice of the community, for double the information and inspiration. Until next week, continue to be blessed. Remember, we're no one-trick pony. We're versatile. Peace. Yeah, I just wrapped it up, Rick. You close, like you stopped at a good spot. So
All right, cool.
It was time for me to do my outro anyway. So we're good.
Let me finish all these phone calls. I got about 20 phone calls now.
All right, man. I appreciate your time. I'll send you the recording after I get it mixed and mastered.
Okay, how many t-shirts am I supposed to send you?
5.
Got you.
All right, okay. I appreciate it, man.
All right.